Okay, Jewelcrafting. Let's get this leveled. What do we think about Jewelcrafting? Jewelcrafting is going to be a little bit more complex to level, I think, than normal, simply because of prospecting. What are we going to be prospecting? Well, we're going to be prospecting a load of the basic lacerite ore. That will get us the main base gems. And then later down the line, we'll do a little bit of mass prospecting. First and foremost, let's see if we do actually get any skill points from doing just basic ass prospecting. If we do, it will be cool. We actually do. This is interesting. Let me bring this window quickly, production value, to the center so we can see what we're doing. Now, I'll put the gems that we get up here and we'll do some single prospecting until we stop getting skill points from it. That seems to be the sensible thing to do. What I should also do ever so quickly is just buy a bunch of these, because we're going to need them. Right, there's a bunch of settings, that's good. And let's load up our trainer dude as well. So let's just continue to prospect some basic stuff. Now, for the fact that you're going to need all of these gems, you might as well prospect until you stop getting skill points. Unfortunately, prospecting isn't showing us like something here, so it's not gonna be easy to know exactly when we stop getting skill points for it. But we're skill 7, we're skill 8, skill 9. Oh, we're not even skill 9. Now we've hit skill 9. I reckon probably the first 10 skill points you can get from prospecting. After that, oh no, we do still get skill points. Let's just keep going, keep plowing forward. Obviously at the beginning of Shadowlands, 5 ore for every prospect. You're probably going to be slightly cautious with how much prospecting you do. And don't prospect everything, because we need lacerite ore to craft some gear later down the line. But for as long as the game gives us skill points for prospecting, that's where we'll get our points from. Skill 16. Maybe it's going to be like enchanting. We got 25 skill points just from disenchanting. So it may be the same, that we can get 25 points just from lacerite ore initially. $18 points. Still 18 points. Oh, big news. Big news. Essence of Servitude. This is one of the first items. Essence of Servitude is what is used in large quantities, and I'm talking large quantities, to craft the base legendary items. So we're going to need a lot of these. We need at least 50 of these for each legendary item that we want to craft. So jewel crafters beware, you're going to be doing a lot of prospecting. We've hit skill point 20 now, just from prospecting so far. And actually we now get the ability to mass prospect it, which is going to guarantee us skill points. That probably means we're not going to get skill points any further for doing single prospecting. Do we think we should start making some gear though, or should we just continue prospecting? Because there's never going to be a case where you're not going to use these gems, and we're going to need the essences later on down the line. So let's do a little bit of mass prospecting. 21. You only get 1 skill up per though, so it's quite expensive to do it this way. But in terms of gems, we seem to be getting a similar amount. We're getting 5 to 6 gems per prospect, which makes it feel about the same as what it was doing it like in chunks of 5. Now, of course, the alternatives, if you don't want to be prospecting large amounts of ore, is that you can start actually making some of these gems themselves. Why does it say that we don't have any lacerite settings? I've got a whole bag full of them. Is Jewelcrafting bust? Oh no, I've bought lithium settings. Where is my lastrite settings? Have I completely fudged this up? Sold by Jewelcrafting vendors, that's what I thought. There's a lithium settings. Where's the lastrite settings then? Ah, sneaky, sneaky. Buy a bunch of these then. I had entirely forgot that there's two types of settings now. Okay. Return to our previously broadcast program. Okay, so yeah, you could arguably be making these gems to start with rather than prospecting. But I always go by the theory that if you can do something to get materials that you're going to use in the end anyway, you might as well just plow through with that. So let's get a little bit further with mass prospecting. So we're getting the gems. So that gets us up to 30. Now the mass prospecting has gone yellow, which means it's not going to guarantee us skill points every time. So it's at this point we might want to start looking at prospecting other stuff. We get the ability to prospect the zone specific stuff. But I would arguably say that we might want to look at start actually crafting some jewellery at this point, as it's going to be a more reliable, or is it? Necklaces are looking pretty tasty. Deadly Jewel is basically 2 gems and some settings. So 2 gems and 2 lacerite ore to get you 2 skill points. That's pretty solid. Making some of these is probably the easiest way to actually get yourself leveled up right now. Unless you want to continue to mass prospect lacerite. Now, I can't emphasize enough just how much ore you're going to need to prospect for jewel crafting long term, but simply for the process of leveling up, we want to get to. We just want to continue with prospecting, you know, because once you've got the gems, you can make the gems, and you're still going to then get the jewellery to sell. You're still going to get the gems to use regardless. If you can get skill points from something as simple as prospecting, you should do it. Now so far we've gone through a lot of lacerite. I'm going to leave ourselves a little bit of lacerite because we need a small amount for crafting. $40 skill points. Okay. Do we want to prospect a lithium to get some skill points now? Thinking forward a little bit, that the top end gear doesn't need any lithium. Lithium, I reckon, is going to be the location where we get more of these essences. Just to give you guys an indication of how much you are going to need to prospect to make the legendary rings and necklaces. We have now gone through 600 lacerite ore. We've prospected 600 ore, and we've only picked ourselves up 2 essences of servitude. We need 50 of these just to craft a single legendary item. 50. Lizard, do some balancing, please, for the love of God. Otherwise, jewel crafters are going to be broke. Let's try some lithium. We can do some mass prospecting on this. Maybe this is going to give us higher results when it comes to prospecting. Okay, so it gave us an essence of servitude straight away. Where did it go? So maybe prospecting a lithium is going to give you essence of servitude more regularly. It does appear that every time you mass prospect a lithium, you get an essence of servitude. Although saying that, we didn't get one this time. And we are, on average, getting the same amount of gems as we do prospecting lastrite. It appears to maybe only be a slightly higher chance. Oh my god, we only got 4 gems from that. And this stuff is going to be expensive because this is the rare ore. We did get an Essence of Valor though this time. That's the first time we've got an Essence of Valor. Jewelcrafting is going to be super expensive, boys and girls. Super expensive. Let's do 5 more. So we've burnt through an awful lot of material so far just prospecting. Obviously we now have a whole bunch of gems that we can use to convert into these jewel clusters, which will then be used later on down the lines for crafting necks and rings. But it's at this point, once you hit 50, I think is probably where you should stop prospecting. I think at 50 you want to start leveling up further. If you want to get yourself to 100 to create the big rings, this is kind of the point where you actually need to start creating jewellery, I feel. The only things that are going to guarantee us skill points here are a couple of the clusters. But that is the only thing that's going to guarantee us skill points. So let's start making a few of these. We've got the deadly and the versatile at the same time. You need a whole bunch of Anger's Eyes, Oroblasts, and Umbriel. So if we try and make them in sort of equal quantities, because you arguably should get equal amounts of gems. One thing I have just noticed is we've got an Essence of Suffering. When did we get the Essence of Suffering? We got the Essence of Suffering from prospecting Elithium ore as well. So that confirms that we are going to get all of these essences from prospecting, but the drop chance of these is bad. At least on Elithium and Lastrite ore. There's a good chance that we're going to get more of these when we prospect zone specific ores, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's continue on with doing the actual leveling though. So let's take, we're only going to get 1 skill point per for each of these. So let's make 5 of the versatile ones to start with, because we get skill points for doing it. We now get some of the other ones available to us. Masterful and the Quick. Let's make 5 more, try and get to 60. We're good. Everything else is greyed out. We should continue ploughing on with these ones. Which ones have we not made? We want to try and give ourselves roughly equal amounts of them. We've done versatile, we've done deadly. Let's do quick. Let's do 5 of those, and then we'll do masterful after. Assuming they don't go orange or green or something stupid. Aha, that was a good choice to do it in that order. Whichever order I did them in, do it in that order. Versatile, then deadly, then quick. Because masterful are going to give you the points up until 70. And then with 5 of each of them, it will give us a nice balance for what we can create after, while still getting skill points every time. Now we can make either the Deadly Sinvir necklace, or we're looking at the Deadly Sinvir ring. Both of these use exactly the same materials, so choice is kind of yours on which one you decide to make. You would always argue that rings are slightly more valuable than necklaces because there's double the slots for them. But we'll make one of these. We're going to need to make a few of these actually, so we're probably going to need to make some more deadly jewel clusters. Deadly jewel clusters, let's see if let's make a few more of these. We're going to need them. We've hit 75 just doing a little bit of crafting of these pieces of jewellery. From 75, we probably should continue to make the clusters, you know, simply on the basis that you're going to use these clusters. Masterful jewel cluster, masterful jewel cluster, versatile jewel cluster, versatile jewel cluster. You're actually going to use these in all of the next bits of jewellery. And long term, of course, if you want to make gold with jewel crafting, you're going to want to sell these pieces of jewellery. So you want a selection of them, and you want to make sure that you've got materials for all of them. So we might continue to try and make a bunch of these clusters while we can, and get as many skill points for doing it. That's 5 more of those. Let's see if we can get ourselves up to 80. We got to 80 nicely. Good, good, good. And then maybe a few more. We need some more deadly ones if we can. We've run low on those. Make a few more masterful ones as the pattern's yellow. We might get to 85 at least. And it's at 85 you get your end. You've got access to all of the jewellery then. And these have gone green. There we go. So our last 15 points are going to come from crafting some more either necklaces or rings. Choice is genuinely going to be yours. The actual materials required for each one, it's 2 deadly clusters and then 2 pieces of zone specific ore. So choice is yours in that regard. We've done some deadly stuff so far. So let's maybe make a versatile necklace and a versatile ring. Just trying to keep a balance really. Let's do a couple of masterful ring and a masterful necklace. And which is the only one we haven't done? Quick necklace, quick ring. These are likely to then be orange all the way to 100. So what you actually produce is really up to you. We've got some materials left over, some clusters left over to make some more stuff. We only need to make 2 more of these. Choice is yours. You get to 100. Simply for the sake of the video, I will use the gems to make some more clusters. Deadly jewel cluster. We might get to 100 off these, you know. Or not. Wow, even though they're green, they really don't give you any skill points. But they're never going to go to waste. We're absolutely going to use them. I just want 1 more skill point, please. Ah, come on already. Yeah, ignore these. Don't craft these to try and get skill points. It's not worth it. Only my OCD is wanting me to push to 100 now. This is not the cheapest way to do it. You should have just crafted more gear, but there we go. Now I can make 1 extra item and we're good. Boom, 100. There we go. So, conclusion. Jewel crafting is going to be expensive. That is the biggest conclusion I can come to. One thing to note is that if you're looking to craft base legendary items, you're going to need a lot of these essences, and you're going to need to do a lot of prospecting to get enough materials to do it. But once you get to skill 50, you want to basically get your way most of the way to 100 just by crafting some rings and some bits and pieces. It's really not that difficult. It's pretty good. Jewel crafters are going to make a lot of money the way that it stands, because the legendary rings and necklaces, you're going to be able to sell them for a lot of gold. So then guys, I hope you enjoyed, hope that was helpful. I've been Manthius, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.